Hey folks, BlackCross here, and welcome to another unboxing video. Today's unboxing is going to be Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher 3, made by DarkHorse. Now, before we get to the actual unboxing itself, there are a few little things I do want to go ahead and talk about. For starters, why did I get this one instead, compared to every other figure that has ever been made? Well, there are two major factors. Factor number one is obviously the look of the figure, and factor number two is the price. So, if you've ever been familiar with The Witcher 3 figures and stuff, you'll know that there's a whole bunch of different Geralt figures that are out there. Some of them ranging from relatively expensive to relatively cheap. But the weird thing is that sometimes the face don't look right. The face just does not look right. Either that, or Geralt's in a particular pose that just doesn't work well with it. For example, the pose that I've seen him in some cases is where Geralt is holding a net and it's got like 3 severed heads. That one, I'm not really a big fan of. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's basically Geralt's way of fighting and stuff like that. And plus, you know, he hunt down monsters and deliver their corpses and stuff. But it's like, I'm not a big fan of like displays of like gory stuff. I mean, you look at some of my collections, and even like that of God of War figure that I've got, you don't see him holding a severed head of a Gorgon, so that's not the case. So not a big thing on my end. And definitely Geralt in a tub. Yeah, that's a figure. That is a figure. But then there's another figure in which where it was part of the collector's edition for The Witcher 3, whereas Geralt fighting the Griffin. Now, while that may look cool, the problem is that the design on the face, when you actually look at it, is poorly... I suppose it was poorly drawn, considering, you know, you have to paint it after it's molded. And the way that it was painted, it looks very poor. It looks very shoddy, unfortunately. And considering the fact that you paid who knows how much for the collector's edition it's a shame that the actual statue itself just does not look right. And then, of course, there's the price of it all. Keep in mind, most statue figures, depending on where you get it from or who makes them, can charge anywhere between like 50 to 100 to even more. Like, for example, there was one particular statue figure that I would love to have had, and it's basically Geralt in a Roni outfit. That looks so awesome. The only problem is that it is somewhat retailed, and I say somewhat retailed because I've only been able to find it on eBay, even Amazon, but I'm pretty sure it's sold by a different seller, is that it sells for upwards to 600 plus. So, yeah, keep in mind, this is coming from somebody who's actually trying to save money. So, while as much as I would love to have that particular figure, for 600 bucks, I'm not willing to part that much in one go. So instead, I went with this one, which whenever I saw this, it was priced at $49.99, 50 bucks. So I was like, hey, Geralt actually looks good. It's a good size figure, which compared to some of my other figures, it's basically around the same size, minus the little, I guess, 1 or 1.5 inch stand that it sits on. But aside from that, it looks really good. So let's go ahead and unbox this bad boy. Go ahead and pull this bad boy out. Honestly, I kind of like the box. The box is actually really good quality. But then again, when you consider the fact that these statues are collectible and stuff like that, it makes sense for why they would make the statues, or make the boxes a lot more heavier quality and stuff. But this particular statue, it has advertised on the back 2 different heads that you can switch between. If you don't know, in The Witcher 3, Geralt can grow his goatee in the game. So in other words, if you want him to be completely shaved off, you can. Or if you want him to have a little bit of a beard, you can. Or if you want it trimmed off to where it's just a goatee, you can. On the cover of the game, he's advertised to have a bit of a goatee, followed by a little bit of an aftergrowth in a way. So I kind of like to keep him in that goatee form in the game. I'm sure some of you have seen my Let's Play of it in this channel. If you haven't, go ahead and check that out if you want to. But then, of course, I'm also planning on doing another Let's Play of it on my main channel. I mean, it's not right off the back, but eventually I will. So, keep an eye on that. Not a big fan of these particular ties. take a quick look at these ties right here, these little plastic things. They're not even the twist ones. They're more of the, I'm not even sure what you would call them. They're kind of like, they remind me of those plastic things that you see on clothing. They're kind of annoying, really, in that sense, and so it's just like, it's a weird looking thing, and I have no idea why they kind of made it like this. I would be fine if they just had the little twist things instead of that, so, but that's just me. Be careful not to cut myself. That would be horrible. Here we have the statue of Geralt without the goatee in his full glory. I actually really like this pose. I really do like it. Next to the Roni, this one is definitely really cool, and I do appreciate the modeling that goes into it. I mean, again, despite how cheap it is, keep in mind it's only like 50 bucks. Detailing on him is pretty spot on good once you think about it. Like, it's really, really good. And then, of course, like I said, it has a separate head. Okay, how am I going to get you out? There we go. That's how I do it. And here we have the goatee look. Then again, he also has his hair pinned up a little bit. And I have to say, I like this better. Like I said, I usually like to keep him in his bearded / goatee look. And I like this better. Obviously, you know, with his other head that he has defaulted on there, his hair is let down and stuff. And I mean, I guess it would work well for those who are like watching The Witcher on Netflix. Because I mean, he has his hair let down all the time, I believe. I've only saw one episode of it, and while on the one hand, they're right on dot with how The Witcher is, in terms of the demonstration and the showcase of the actual the show kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones, unfortunately. I mean, record, it would be the same ideal and everything like that, but unfortunately, I feel like it's as if that the series probably would do better as like an anime. I'm personally thinking it would work better as an anime. Live action, yeah, it does look good, don't get me wrong. It feels more like Game of Thrones, and I have my nitpicks with Game of Thrones, along with The Witcher as well, but that's just me personally. But anyway, back to the whole video game thing. The statue itself looks really good, and I do like him. I'm glad I went on ahead and pre-ordered this one. Like, literally, this thing has just come out. So, if you're interested in getting it, it's pretty cheap. But for it being cheap, it's good quality. It looks nice. So, for preference, I figure we go ahead and just kind of line them up with another figure, just kind of give you an idea of the size reference. So, here's... Having this mic is actually kind of hard to do whenever you're trying to showcase something, but here's Geralt, and then here's Adam from Deus Ex. Pretty close to being the same, keep in mind he's kind of crouched down and stuff a little bit, but pretty on par, the same size, and that works well for like the figures that I collect and stuff, because I mean, it's a small nitpick, I get it, but I would prefer my figures, whenever I'm collecting them, to be somewhat of the same size, and that's why I usually try to collect figures from the same form of company. You know, sort of like how the play arts and everything like that, I try to keep them all in the same size group category. I don't know what size group this is called. They classify them in centimeters, and me being a dumb brain that I am, it's hard for me to register, okay, how does centimeters look compared to if you explain it to inches. I immediately know right off the back of what the size references is. For example, I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is like a 7-inch figure. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 7. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Kind of a small unboxing video, but I figured it's The Witcher. I don't do any other figure unboxing aside from like Kingdom Hearts, and I figured just kind of throw you a different one instead of just the normal Kingdom Hearts figure. Although, as of the timing of this recording, I just had got an email for another Kingdom Hearts figure coming on the way. So look out for that video, guys. Even though if you're familiar with the release scheduling of Square Enix action figures, you probably know which one it's going to be. So see you in the next video, guys. Catch you guys later.